Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in with Tom. Now I'm going to have what I consider my first answer video. There's a guy out there, he calls himself the Real Music Observer. And he just, he has thousands of subscribers and thousands of views. Am I jealous? Oh, yeah, of course I'm jealous. But you know, what drives me insane about this guy is he builds his channel by all these rants about Styx and Dennis DeYoung and all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm a longtime Styx fan. First saw him in 1979, one of my favorite bands on the planet. I'm a huge Dennis DeYoung fan. I'm a huge Tommy Shaw fan. I'm a huge JY fan. I'm a huge Lawrence Gowan fan. So when he keeps going on about this whole Lawrence Gowan thing, I'm going to be honest with you, I just don't get it. So the video was called, Why Did Styx Replace Dennis DeYoung with Someone with, why didn't? I don't know, why didn't? Somebody with the same level of testosterone. I don't know, it's a lot. It's out there. And he takes his comments and turns them off when he does these videos, because I think he realizes that at some point somebody's going to call him on his bull pucky. I wanted to say a swear word, but I'm going to avoid it. Might be children listening. So, first of all, here's the myth that he perpetuates. Kilroy and Babe broke up Styx. Oh. It's the ultimate narrative. Kilroy and Babe broke up Styx. Now, Babe, #1 single. #1. It's their top-selling single. Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Huge hit. Yeah, the band's playing it now in concert with Lawrence Gowan singing it. And one of the things that you got to realize in terms of Styx is that they're like any band, relationships. You spend a little too much time together, and you get on each other's nerves, and eventually you split up. Now, for a long time, there was this narrative that Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles. And Yoko Ono didn't break up the Beatles. Time broke up the Beatles. Time broke up Styx. The band was working too hard for too long. Dennis is the first one that says, hey, we probably should have taken some time off. Was Babe the kind of song that Tommy Shaw and JY were thrilled with? Nah, probably not. But that's not what broke up the band. That's not. Here's the other thing that Real Music Observer ignores in all of his rants. Dennis, which he'll say, well, Dennis wrote all the hits. He did. All of the top 10 hits by Styx were written by Dennis DeYoung, which means that he gets the publishing on him, which means that he didn't have the financial pressure to tour as often, nor did he ever have the desire to tour as often as Tommy and JY. Those guys like to tour. And in fact, Dennis was left behind because he was ill and he couldn't tour. And ultimately, the band went on without him. Okay? It ain't Kilroy. It ain't Babe. It's circumstances. It's people changing. It's a change in leadership. Dennis was the leader. Tommy's the leader now. That's just the reality. The other thing, we're going to call this the idiotic statement of all time, talking about Lawrence Gowan's voice being reminiscent to the Lollipop Guild. We are the Lollipop Guild. Come on, really? Lawrence Gowan is an excellent singer. And, everybody uses this term replacement. He's not a replacement for Dennis DeYoung. He is Lawrence Gowan. He had a career before he joined Styx. Is his voice similar to Dennis's? Yes, it's similar. It ain't the same. And you know what? Gowan doesn't attempt to repeat Dennis's phrasing. Nobody sings like Dennis DeYoung. But nobody sings like Lawrence Gowan either. And, I love this other part. Mr. Real Music Observer, he says, by the way, subscribe to my channel, would you? How are thousands of people on his and not mine? I got some great content up here. Look at it. So he talks about how Lawrence Gowan was never popular outside of Canada. Now, I live in Buffalo, the Buffalo area. We all knew Lawrence Gowan because we listened to his music all the time, because we received Canadian radio stations. There's a Canadian content law. So in the area where he was receiving airplay, it was very popular. because he's a great performer. Now, Dennis, Tommy, JY, and Todd Zuckerman, for that matter, have all come out with solo albums, none of which were as successful as Styx records. That's just the reality. To say that, like, oh, Lawrence Gowan, he just wasn't as popular as a solo artist. He couldn't make it as a solo artist, and his songs were just as wimpy as Roboto or Babe. That's ludicrous. Nonsense. Stop it. There's room for both here. You can still love Dennis and love Lawrence Gowan. All right. I love this one. People at Styx concerts yell, "Where's Dennis?" Dude, after 24 years, if you don't know that Dennis DeYoung isn't touring with Styx anymore, shame on you. Now, here's the thing. I've seen Styx and I've seen Dennis DeYoung solo over the last 24 years. They're both phenomenal. Dennis has a guy in his band that sings Tommy Shaw's songs. August Zadra. Incredible performer. Does a great job. Why don't you crap on August Zadra for trying to sing like Tommy Shaw? You know why? Because August is just doing a job like Lawrence Gowan is. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. Tommy Shaw is not an original member of Styx. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give that to you. Real music observer. Real. Holding a laptop with my notes here, so that's why I can't use both hands. 17 studio albums. Styx. 4 hit gold. And 5 of them were platinum or better. Multi-platinum. Kilroy, platinum. The other ones, Grand Illusion, Piece of 8, Cornerstone, Paradise Theater, multi-platinum. If you take the 5 albums that Shaw was on, that adds up to more than the rest of the albums combined. Now, there were 3 gold albums out of the 4 without Tommy Shaw on those records. Yeah, sure, there were. But the reality is that Tommy Shaw, James Young, Dennis DeYoung, John and Chuck Panazzo. Yeah, that's the classic lineup of Styx. John Streletsky, great guy. Glenn Burtnick, great guy. Todd Zuckerman, one of the greatest drummers ever. Ricky Phillips, hell of a bass player. Willa Vankovic, hope I pronounced that correctly. Seems like a great guy, great songwriter. Current member. The classic lineup is those guys. That included Tommy and JY. There's 2 of them. There's more members in Styx right now that have a tie to the original band than there are in Foreigner. There really are. And a lot of bands. And Leonard Skinner. And yes. So here's the reality. People are still going to these shows because they're not all that hung up on who's the original member. They want to see the music presented in a way that makes sense, that they can enjoy. My dogs will tell you that. It's why they're barking in the background. And, yeah, I don't know. So that's all I got. I could go on for another 10 minutes. I don't have a CD to promote by another band or all that other stuff. I don't have a personal grudge against Real Music Observer. Never met the guy. I get it. It's a shtick. You get there and you go, oh, Now, I'll close with this. It's a longtime Styx fan. Do I want to see Dennis DeYoung get back together with Styx? Let me tell you what I'd like to see. I'd love to see Tommy Shaw and Dennis DeYoung go out for a cup of coffee and reminisce about the old times and be friends. The same with JY, Chuck, all those guys. I couldn't care less if they ever played again. It hurts me in my soul as a fan of the band that they just don't get along as individuals. And I would much rather see that than some kind of contrived money grab of a reunion tour that a lot of people aren't really going to care about anyway. Because I hate to say it, most people just don't pay attention. If they're big fans like me and the Real Music Observer, yeah, we want that reunion. We really do. For nostalgia purposes. But it's not going to prove anything. And honestly, if you've listened to the recent Dennis solo albums, they're incredible. Incredible. You listen to the last 2 Styx albums, incredible. Great stuff. They're still recording. They're still doing some things. They're just not doing it together. And you know what? There'd be no Dennis DeYoung solo career without Styx. There'd be no Styx without Dennis DeYoung. Nobody can take that away from these guys. And no reunion tour is going to change the band's history. But again, my hope is that Dennis or Tommy or JY or none of those guys passes away without having an opportunity to hug themselves, hug each other, not themselves, hug each other and just say, hey man, job well done. You know, that's what I'd like as a fan. Because the music's already there. I have the music. I own it. I love it. I just want to see these guys get along as human beings. And maybe they can, and maybe they can't. Because ultimately, sometimes things happen between people that don't get resolved. And sometimes they do. Real Music Observer. Yeah, you're a lot more popular than I am. But hey, if I get 1 or 2 subscriptions out of this, I've won something. But I've made my point, okay? Thanks for tuning in with Thom. See you soon.